have an old friend who I first interviewed with a while ago on her podcast, Monica Kade. Monica is, among other things, the one thing that we did not talk about today, she is a aerobatic airplane, monoplane, and biplane, I think, uh, aerobatic uh, artist. It's probably the best way to put it. She's an artist in the sky, and hair raising, and given her long hair, I'm pretty sure it is probably flowing out in all directions when she does her loop to loop and things like that. But Monica, when she's got her feet firmly on the ground instead of in the clouds, is very much an expert in brand messaging and personal branding, and to some extent also very facile in organizational and corporate branding. So I decided to call her up today and see if she could spend some time from the other side of the world. She's from Crocodile Dundee land, the Northern Territory. Monica?
Not that far up. I'm a bit lower. I'm down the bottom end, but in Melbourne.
The Northern Territory, mate. So, so she's got, so she's, and so it's right now 9 a.m. in down under, while it is 9:48 a.m. in down under and 7:48 p.m. for me here in the U.S. on the previous day. So I so Monica, we are going to enter into a conversation on how AI is changing or attempting to change the field of brand marketing.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. It made me smile. And yes, I am an aerobatic pilot, and I love how you gave the contrast of being up in the clouds and then with my feet on the ground. It's very much a lovely depiction of how I live my life. Yes.
All right. So here comes your first question. So the thing I wanted to ask about is the field of AI is totally transforming branding and personal branding as well as brand marketing and so on and so forth. What do you see, A, the strength and the value of it, and B, the area where you think that old branding experts still are essential for and create an undeniable or unequivocal value? And how can you, if you see that both of them exist, then how do you blend them?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely changing the landscape. And
Your voice
for
is cutting
me,
in and
in my
out.
experience with the people that
Your voice is cutting in and
is
out.
it,
Yeah.
is that better? Is it better
Uh,
now?
yeah, when you
I'll
speak,
talk and let me know. Is that much better?
much better, but yeah, yeah. The quality of the your bandwidth is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Um, Sometimes it freezes, but I'm on the one that works well, so it should be all right.
Much better now.
Is it okay at the moment?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, so yes, there is a big change because obviously AI has given people the ability to do their own branding, which is great. And I feel like there's different levels of it. Some people want to go and use that, and that's fine. But the thing I'm noticing is if you don't have a clear brand to begin with, what you're going to get out of AI is rubbish, or it's going to be the same as what everybody else is getting. So I always feel like if you have a very strong brand and you come to AI and you use it as an extension of you, then that's when it works. Otherwise, I think it also comes down to judgment. So it's like if you're not a writer, if you're not a specialist in branding, you will look at what you receive out of AI and think, oh, that's great. And you might give that to someone that works in branding or messaging, and they will say, yeah, it's okay. It's a good start. It's got the bones of it. But then there's lots of areas that are missing. Or sometimes it doesn't sound like you. There's a flatness. A lot of AI content, there's a flatness. So I feel like that's what I started noticing in the market. And because I've been doing this for such a long time, I thought, oh gosh, it's a bit sad that language is being diluted almost. It's like everyone just sounds the same. No one has a real point of difference. People's opinions are very flat as well because unless you bring more depth in what you're saying to AI, it's only going to give you, like what I said before, the same level of input that you give back.
So what I see, uh, and I see this as a writer also, um,
Mm.
that what AI does is it. So it was like before people were writing, and there were some people who were writing really horrible stuff, and there were some people who were writing great stuff.
Yeah.
And what AI has done is it has chopped the top of the mountain off
Hmm.
and it has filled the bottom of the valley off such that we are all one big plain.
Hmm.
Is that what you see?
That's what I see, yes.
Yeah.
And I
So
think, hmm
so given that that is the going to be the new normal,
mm,
and given that you are going to have, let us say you get 10 clients, and out of those 10 clients, you're going to get what percentage do you see who come to you thinking that they already got it all mastered with whatever tools are already out there for free on the market?
mm.
That
I think sorry, go on.
yeah, go ahead.
I think the clients that come to me are the ones that usually recognize that they often say, I've tried AI and they don't like what they're getting out. They're spending too much time editing it. They're finding that it just doesn't feel like them. They still second guess, even if they think, oh yeah, that sounds better than what they could like write
Create.
themselves. They still question, oh, does this sound like me? So that what that tells me is it really starts with that brand piece. So when you do have a solid brand and um, you have messaging that you created that reflects your brand that wasn't just created with AI, there is more nuance to it, there is more depth to it, and that's when you can use AI to complement what you've got. Otherwise, it's like everyone's, like you said, the analogy with the mountain was so good. Everyone's got the same pool and they're drawing from the same pool and everyone sounds the same. So, so my clients are usually the ones that are like, can you help me either build that solid brand first? Even if they've been in business a long time, sometimes they want to rebrand. So that's where I can help them. And then some of them want to go and use AI again. And then others, which are larger companies or larger organizations, they still want me to do the work for them. So it's an interesting sort of market at the moment.
So the branding is not just on marketing to the final customer. There's branding involved in messaging to internal customers within the company too. There's branding involved in messaging towards the boardroom, messaging towards teams. Uh, do you see maybe how much of a need is there for depth of messaging? So there is depth and there's clarity.
Hmm.
Which would you like to take first? Depth or clarity if you had a choice of one?
I think clarity provides depth. So we can start with clarity.
So if clarity is all that you are going to build with, then do tools like AI offer you clarity?
I think they can. I think if you use them strategically as a partner in thinking,
You're
when you
freezing.
have an idea, help yourself to flesh it out. Yeah. Um, because, for example, a lot of people, unless you're in a team or sometimes you meet up with other friends or business people or family, you might bring your idea to the table when you have a conversation. And, sometimes you get ideas from that. And they're like, they can be your partner, which is, I think, a very clever and strategic way to use it because you can get your own clarity around an idea or messaging or something that you're working on, but you have to approach it that way, not like, oh, not be very vague, like give me this, or you've got to talk to it like you would a human. If you're doing that strategic clarity piece, you can say, hey, I've got this idea and I'm looking to build this product, and these are my ideas so far. This is where I'm struggling. Can we bounce it out together so I get further clarity around what I'm creating? And you might like some bits that you get back, you might not like some bits, but you as the human are allowed to choose. And through your own experience and thinking and knowing of what you want to create, then you can walk away and go, okay, I've got clarity around this piece now. Now I want to go and create a landing page, or I want to create an email sequence, or whatever it is.
Got it. Got it. The So what you're saying is get the clarity, and then you can ask the AI to add some depth and some nuance into it as we go on. Now, what I have one creator who creates stuff, and he hates AI for almost everything. He will not touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he and I, we have bumped heads on certain things about the value of AI in certain visuals. Um, whether And I personally find that while I agree that the way I look at it is I'm seeing the need for filling the belly, and you
Mm-hmm.
need for high level nutrition. And you can either fill the belly with McDonald's, or you can go to a Michelin star. And this guy is my Michelin star, but he is priced so high that I can't really avail of dining with him all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
there are many mundane tasks that I can just fill my belly with a sandwich and move on. And
Mm.
so that's, to me, is the analogy of how AI is entering the market in marketing and branding. Do you concur with that analogy? Or
Yeah, I would. I would definitely agree with that. I think in a way, AI has allowed the people that are very good at what they do in branding and messaging to be even more valuable. Now, I think if you asked a lot of people that are writers or work in that space, some may say they disagree because maybe they've lost work to it. But I actually think, as with any change in life and the world changes technology, you're either going to evolve with it or you don't, and you go and do something else. And neither is right or wrong. It's just what you choose. And I think the people that evolve, they find different ways of continuing to do what they're very good at. And then they use technology or AI to make them even better. Uh, so I think you can use both. Like you can work with someone like that's the Michelin star. Then you can also use AI for the bits that maybe don't necessarily need that level of expertise or thinking. It's such an interesting topic because you can have the pros and the cons. And to be honest, I think there are both, and I can hold both of them at the same time. There are things that I love, there are things that I don't like, but I think how is the individual using it to support them in their life? Is it making their life easier? Is it helping their business grow? Is it helping them become more confident in their communication? Because that's the other thing. Before AI, a lot of people didn't create content because they were conscious or self-conscious and lacked confidence.
Yeah.
So this, in a way, has given them a bit of a voice, which is a beautiful thing too. So it's mixed. I think it's in our lives and we have a choice, and I choose to look at it. This is an extension of me. It's another way that I can enhance my creativity. Uh, but I'm not going to go in there and say take what AI gives me and then just use that. Like I believe you can make it human. It can just expedite things for you and make you more efficient in some of the more mundane things.
Hmm. Hmm. The um, switching tack away from brand as creatives, where do you see in the realm of branding and marketing? There's a lot of intelligence gathering, competitive intelligence gathering, so that you know how to and do you see AI helping in competitive intelligence gathering that could shape a branding campaign faster and better, where it really doesn't matter nuance and depth and voice of messaging is not important in that area. You just need to know what other people are using. Do you see AI excelling in that and making the life of a branding expert that much easier?
Probably, yeah. I'm sure there are agencies and people that are doing big campaigns and just using AI. I guess the thing is, our human brain is limited into how fast we process and to how much knowledge we can have around a particular subject. So, what I mean is, I am not a psychologist. I haven't trained as a psychologist. I can read about the mind and certain ways that we process the world or sales psychology. I can read all that. But in my time, I'm not going to become an expert unless I go and study that. But if I'm in my profession, then AI almost gives me a bit more that I can apply to those campaigns that I couldn't have. So it sort of 10x's my ability because my brain cannot operate as fast as that. So I think when it comes to creating brand campaigns, like you said, that don't require the individual's voice, maybe more consumer-led products, I'm sure because it can analyze all the psychology, it can test what's worked before, it can give you an analysis. And for a human to do that, it's going to take a lot of time. So yeah, I mean, people are doing it already. I'm sure, where you see, I've seen on Instagram a few different times where people are either making movies or different creative campaigns that were purely produced with AI, and they're pretty good. So I think I don't know.
No, I
It's
mean,
like,
if I were to go into today's political arena, we have in the United States we have two heavyweight politicians facing off in each other. One being Donald J. Trump, and the other is Gavin Newsom. Both of them use AI extensively in provocative ads that
hmm,
they messaging. Now,
hmm,
in this phenomenon, neither is they are very clear that their imagery and their messaging is false. They know that.
hmm,
Portraying someone in a flowing robe and with with orbs of light emanating from their head and their arms, and you know, healing somebody. It's unmistakable that it is false. There's no debate about it. Everyone knows it's false.
Yeah.
But the impact is made. Those who would like to portray that person in that form will automatically gravitate and become receptive to the impact of subsequent messaging. So subsequently, when the person reads a passage from the Bible that says, you know, where it says, follow me as we do battle against the evil hordes or whatever, you know, they have already been primed by this. On the other
Mm.
hand, we have somebody else who's trolling the first politician with their own set of AI generated memes, where you have a foreign politician sitting beside a small canal operating a toll gate, and everyone is dropping bags of money, and then along comes this one, and he gives them, instead of an oil barrel, a rocket or something of the sort. And everyone, again, the camp that wants to see that rocket handled and the subsequent, follow up of whatever should happen after that, they're quite happy with that. And they're already
Mm.
primed that way. They're already primed that way. So AI is being used in situations where you want messaging to convey something close to reality and something close to fantasy or cartoon.
Yeah.
And the impact is universally equal in terms of the desired intention on both.
Yeah.
Taking this further in your domain of branding as such, each one of them is using branding for a particular purpose.
Mm.
How far do you see this going?
I often wonder the same thing. It's it's moving so fast, and I'm astounded as to how far it's being taken. Like the fact that now, I don't know if you've had this happen to you, but in conversations that I have with friends or whatever, I will say, "Oh, is that real?" Like we're getting to the point where we have to check, is that
But we don't
real?
need to. I know it is not real. See, they have
Sure.
bypassed that by making unreality obvious. You
Mm.
bypass the one credibility problem of AI.
Yes.
It is
And
like
in
it is like putting a disclaimer on for that all these images are all made are artificial images. And now, having made the disclaimer, you're absolved of the responsibility of adhering to the truth in any way, shape, or form. You can fantasize and create whatever world you want to create. So, at a philosophical level, what I see happening in the public discourse is truth is now a matter of opinion and it's malleable.
Mhm.
And there is no single purveyor of truth. Neither is there a single arbiter of what is norm and what is not norm.
Mm.
So, given that an enterprise like branding or messaging or advertising is in the context of human existence, and since human existence exists in the context of navigating what is real and avoiding what is unreal, where are we going?
Well, when you say like navigating real and unreal, in what context are you saying that we're trying to avoid what's not real? Just in the AI or?
Because if you take my ancestral caveman, if he had a problem identifying what is real or versus unreal, he is not going to come home to the rest of his tribe. He's going to get eaten by a dinosaur or a lion or a saber-toothed cat.
Yeah.
That is no longer a problem.
True. Yes.
You and I can live our entire life in unreality and have no consequence of that. In fact,
Mm.
have rewards because of that.
Yeah.
Do you see that affecting the way the ethical choices that go on in marketing? And have you faced those ethical choices?
I personally have not faced them. I, yeah, I haven't. I am sure that they will, I don't know if they'll present for me, but I think it comes down to also what you're choosing, right? Like if these political leaders are choosing to create campaigns using AI in the form that they want to, that's their choice. Does it have a follow-on effect? Yes. And then there are people that maybe don't use AI in that way. So I think it comes down to, I mean, are we going down the fact of like, are we looking at the impact of people that are being subject to these campaigns that aren't real and that maybe are influential in a way that isn't truthful? Like, do we care or do we not care? I think like some people don't care. Some people do care. They think it's false. And I think that's a question that we probably can only each answer for ourselves to decide like, do I care that that's written by AI? Do I believe and still value what this person stands for? Which I think then comes back to your own set of values and your own, whether it's a brand or your individual values. Like you can still be governed by those and still use AI. In politics, I can't comment. I'm not really
No, it's not
well
about
versed there.
commenting. It's not about commenting whether I'm not knowledgeable in politics, but I can see the effect.
Yeah,
Um, I can see the effect. As a common man affected by politics, I can see the effect.
yeah.
So that's exactly what the one question that happens is, do you see a need for a digital certificate that would automatically be incorporated into AI algorithms that will allow authenticity to be coded, hard coded in the creative algorithm itself?
In terms of, do you mean in recognizing what's human and what's not created human by human?
A kind of
So,
a kind of a guardrail where
yeah.
AI cannot be used to just create without a watermark, some kind of a
Mm,
digital watermark that goes across images that allow you to. I know. I'm just thinking about
mm,
how would you determine, like somebody can say that I'm just creating a fantasy real,
mm.
so I don't need to adhere to a watermark for reality.
True.
Yeah,
I think there are some ways that little things like that are taking place. I know, for example, on LinkedIn, if an image is AI generated, I think that a little AI sort of, I can't remember. An LinkedIn expert was talking about it, was saying that they'll notify that this image was generated by AI.
yeah.
Uh, so I think the companies are creating certain guardrails and certain industries are saying that are creating their own guardrails. Like I know in the film industry recently, they had the whole conversation and banning AI for script writing. So it's I think there are some guardrails in place. And I think from what they tell us, the people that have created these mainstream AI, they are created to keep the best interests of the human in mind. But then you do also hear about these other terrible stories of things going wrong with, the younger generation, or AI convincing people to kill themselves in an
Yeah,
extreme
yeah,
level.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um,
So how effective those guardrails are, I don't know. Do we need them? I think that's again a collective thing. Like, who I guess if I look at my own sort of image, the images that I see used with AI, often I can appreciate them because I know, I guess it depends what I'm looking at, but if they are those more fantasy type things, you can have an appreciation. It's like art, like it's a different type of art, but you can go, oh, I'm moved by that, or that's cool, or I like it, or but it doesn't consume my world. And I think it probably comes down to the individual and how they're consuming content, and how literally they take it, because I think everyone's different in that sense. Some
yes.
people are very influenced by what they see, some less so, some not at all. So,
And since our last conversation, I had a lot of time to explore all these, alleys and byways of branding, and I frequently found myself coming back to this about because I see the value, and I also see the enormous potential for harm. I don't know where it's going
mm,
to end, but I was curious to see where you felt, and did you have any insight for C-suite executives who are trying to make a decision on, you know, how to approach the entire branding enterprise.
mm,
And you kind of mentioned it at the beginning that you can use AI to supplement but not create. If you already have a strong brand or a strong idea for brand and things like that, you can use AI to polish it up, make it more powerful, but not
mm,
change your voice or your thing. And you really wanted. So if I were to put out a set of 5 top guidelines that board a board of directors would like to consider when they are choosing a branding expert, what are the top 5 things that they would want to pick in a branding expert in terms of that would guide their corporation's
mm.
branding
I think
work?
yeah, if it's being rolled out within the company as well, I think then that's also a bigger decision too, because it's not just for the CEO. So it's not their personal brand if it's for a company brand. But I think it's always look at the person's experience. That's the first one. And I think who you feel you connect with is important. I think, excuse me, understanding the individual's process and approach to things is really important before just choosing anyone, because there are a lot of agencies, and usually if it's a bigger organization they tend to work with agencies. Sometimes they do work with smaller branding experts too, but it's easy for someone to say, yeah, I can do all this for you, but what's the quality of what you're going to get? Like, with my clients, I just genuinely care about, why do they want to do this? So if someone comes to me, I'm not going to say yes to working with them straight away. I like to understand, what's your goal here? Like, why do you want to do this? Or why do you want to start, a LinkedIn presence? What's the purpose? Because often, in particularly, I guess, when you're running a company, there's all these different things you have to do. So then it's like, do we have to do all these things, or are we going to be intentional about what we're going to execute and how we're going to execute it? So I think, for one, is like, look at somebody's experience. To look at their philosophy and their approach. Does that align with your organization, or is that person just going to execute with very little care for your brand? That's my approach. I know not everyone has that same approach. Two more tips. I think also look at their results because you obviously, again, because we haven't had a set topic of what this person's rolling out, but like have a look at the results. Uh, does this person have the results that you want for your organization? If yes, that's a good sign. If no, then you need to take that into consideration. Uh, and five, I have to think about five.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be five. If we just found four, that's fine. But the four that you said are time-honored things. I mean, like find out experience in past work, find out their approach to working and ability to work with you, relationship and comfort working because you're going to talk and argue about critical things. Uh, be able to see their portfolio of work that they already did, and you know, be able to measure the outcome of what they did for others, because past past performance is often the best gauge of future performance.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much standard. Nothing has changed. That means, regardless of whether AI is, storming the battle, the castle gates or not, but the the elements of deciding on a branding team remains the same as before,
Hmm. I
and
think,
that is reassuring.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think people still want to, and more so, they want to connect with a human and they want to do good work.
yeah,
Now, how you do that good work, I mean, is
that,
it bad if you use AI to do that good work and still have the result that you want? Is that a bad thing? I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It comes down to the individual. But that's the way we can look at it because I think people get too focused on, is this AI? And then they forget about the whole message, about the experience of what that piece of content is supposed to do. But if someone is like immediately going into that thinking process of like, oh, is this AI? Have they used an M dash? Then maybe the message isn't strong enough. Maybe you haven't connected to your audience yet.
yep, yeah, yeah. Anything else that you would like to talk about or share with us that will help the community I have at Boardroom Reflections?
Hmm. It's interesting. I wrote a piece the other day about how last year PayPal put out a job ad and it was for the head of content and um, for the CEO, head of content for the CEO. And the role of that person was to make the CEO sound human. And then OpenAI also hired another role that was paying like $393,000 for a content creator to do the same. And I thought that was fascinating because it made me go, so if the leaders of these big giant companies are employing humans to make them sound human, which they were in the first place, what does that mean for everyone else using AI that's not going to hire someone to do that? So I thought that was a very thought-provoking idea that I was interested in. So I think bringing your humanness is really important, especially if you're in a leadership or executive position. There's nothing wrong with you is using AI, but are you still bringing yourself to the table and are you connected to your thoughts? Because that's another thing that I've noticed is that you can use AI and you can have no idea what you wrote and not be connected to it. And so then when someone asks you about that piece of content or that report or
Yeah,
anything like that, you don't have a point of view because you're not connected to it. And that's something that's definitely missing. So I think still have a thought, be connected to what you're writing, think about it critically, like have the ideas because that still matters for your own sort of for your brain and also for the connections you're making with other people. Because if I send you an automated email that I didn't even see and you ask me about it the next time we catch up, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's just there's no real relationship there. So I think that's a really key part of
So I had a
whatever.
conversation today with a company called, I don't want to talk about the name of the company, but essentially
Mm,
they were in the business of helping doctors secure more patients
mhm.
and also helping the doctor's website feature more highly on the Google search
Okay.
engines,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? So the way they were doing it is, and they were also helping doctors take negative reviews off their Google review page, right?
Hmm.
So in the negative review section, they were using Google's own review algorithm to flag 1-star reviews, and doctors get a lot of 1-star reviews unnecessarily, which are fake, because you have somebody who was just upset that they were charged a copay, and they go and put a 1 star and slime you on the internet, knowing that it's going to be there till kingdom come. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like it happens all the time. So, so, so I see that particular factor. They're going to use AI to rapidly go and keep sending out notices to Google to take it down, take it down, take it down. And I can see perfectly well. I'm pretty sure that Google will create an AI to answer this AI, and soon it'll be AI fighting over AI about whether the review goes down or not. But
Mm,
that's one aspect. Then the other thing that really caught my eye was to feature highly on page one of the Google ranking, because if somebody types Dr. Ravi Iyer, to get my page ranked at number one, they are Google flags the website as important to be shown if it always has updated new content. So they have an
hmm.
AI engine constantly creating new little articles of health articles on a blog page on my website. And I looked at it
Mm,
and I said, hey, wait a minute, this is like I'm giving health information out. That's fine. I'm happy, but I want to know what is the voice, how it is. And she really didn't have a good answer to it. She kind of gave me a canned answer, and I actually said, okay, fine. Since they're offering it for free, I said, fine, let's go with it. But I sat down with a staff member and said that we're going to have to find out when these blogs come up, we're going to have a way of editing them and putting in something that is unique to the higher clinic in that. I can't just have canned stuff going on. But I can put, but that brings me to the next question is, if Google's ranking is based on canned crap, then how long? Google is not stupid. After some time, it'll say, okay, this is canned crap. I ain't going to rank them up.
mm,
They're going to rapidly change that.
for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
So it's like an escalating arms race that goes on, and I don't know where the end line is, but it is very interesting that these are the things that people try to game the system with using AI
Mhm.
because of its
Yeah.
capacity to process and run through vast quantities of data.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. It's quite mind-blowing, like all the things that are happening around it. I subscribe to a few different AI newsletters and I'm each day I'm just my mind continues to be blown. And I just think, oh my goodness, like where like you said, where are we going to end up? I
Huh.
don't think no one knows, but it's kind of it's kind of exciting, it's kind of scary, it's strange, it's interesting. It's all the things.